Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Jonathan Coates here, and in this video, I'm going to be picking up where I left off in the last video, part one, where we talked about getting first page rankings in the search engines using a free SEO software along with the keyword strategy that basically guarantees you to get on the first page. Now, if you remember, we were using a broad keyword and we were looking at the results using a Chrome extension called Mozbar to analyze the domain authority, how many links, like the backlink profiles that a website gets, and basically the page authority. Now we have three main criteria that we were using when it comes to our keyword strategy. And then number one was we're looking for three or more websites with a lower domain authority than ours. And ideally, the lower it is, the better. Now, number two is the sites with the lower domain authority than ours should have little to no backlinks or just less than ours. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that even if you have two out of the three, you should still come up with an awesome key phrase that ranks in the search results that gets daily searches and it gets a lot of traffic, and you should have little to no problem getting ranked on the first page. But if you can get all three, then that's spectacular. So number three is basically you're looking for sites with a lower domain authority than yours. It doesn't have keywords in the title. So if you remember, we used a key phrase for how to get your X back, and this is a pretty broad one. So you'll notice that the domain authority for all of these, well, the majority of them are higher than the ones we're using in this example. And we're using adversity from my friend and my mentor, Sean Baggery, and my other friend, Tanya Eliza. She has a domain authority of 31. And would you using these as an example? Hypothetically, if they were in the relationship market, we're looking for domains that's lower than ours, has less backlinks, and Sean has 1,500 backlinks, while Tanya Eliza has about like 4,200. So in these cases, the majority of these on this first page here, for even this broad key phrase here, has a lower domain authority than ours. One huge indicator if you have a high chance of ranking in the search engines for your key phrase is if the very first search result has a lower domain authority than yours. But in this case, as you can see, Mercury, pretty high authority website, has a higher domain authority than ours, the ones that we're using in this example, which is we got 33 and 31. This one has 91. So what we can do to get additional and more better key phrases, if we just go down to the related searches. Now these are key phrases, don't get like thousands of searches, but they do get like 10 consistent searches of 10, maybe 50, even as much as 100 searches every single day. And as you can imagine, Google wouldn't put key phrases and variations and recommendations here that don't get searches. So these do get consistent daily searches. They're just not as much as the broad one that we used in the example here. So if we were to pick one of these, I'll click on how to get your X back fast by text message. And if we scroll down, we can look what we're looking for. This one has, the very first one is WikiHow, and we know that that's a high authority website. I believe it's about like 90 plus. The very second one here is a domain of authority of 30 and 70 links. So we're looking for three. So we found two so far on the first page that have a lower domain authority than both of the websites that I'm referencing, and has less backlinks. And then this one has a higher domain authority, but still less backlinks. Keep scrolling, 37, 35, 32, 16 links, boom. And you can keep going through the same process if you want more key phrases. You just go to these related searches, because as you can imagine, Google wouldn't recommend key phrases here that no one is searching for. Because as I mentioned earlier, these get consistent searches on a regular basis, just not thousands and thousands of them. Now, every now and then you'll have some in here that'll get thousands of results, but the majority of these are just ones that get consistent regular searches of like a good 20 to 50 to even up as much as 100 or even a little over 100 searches every single day. So these are consistent and very valuable key phrases to use in your search engine optimization. Now, if we go right to the top and we go to our main key phrase that we use and we just click, we'll notice that these key phrases come up with the same ones that we saw in the related searches down here. And generally, the ones that come up first get more of you, they're more hyper competitive, they get more traffic than the ones that show up at the bottom here. Not all the time, but for the most part they do. But if you click on the space bar, you even get even more long tail variations. Like our main one is how to get your X back by text messages. These long tail variations go how to get your ex-boyfriend back fast by text message, how to get your ex-girlfriend back fast by text messages. So as you can see, we've got literally dozens and dozens of keywords. So just keep that in mind, that generally the most searched is going to be at the top here and the least searched is at the bottom. And it's not 100%, but generally that's the direction that it goes, is that the ones at the top are a little bit more competitive than the ones here at the bottom. But these are still all good, great variations of long tail keywords that you can use in your search engine optimization to get ranked in the first page in 24 hours, virtually guaranteed. And keep in mind that's using this 3 criteria method here that we're using for our keyword strategy. Now, as you can see, we have options here at the bottom, and we also have options at the top if we just go to the search bar and then click space. One thing that I wanted to bring up is if you do have content that's like date driven, like for an example, if you put, say for an example, you put the year after your key phrase, so you put your key phrase in and you put the current year in. So if it is date driven, one thing I just want to recommend is make sure you update the article like once a year. That way you can keep the content fresh in there, so people who's reading it know that what they're reading is modern and it works now, which is really important. So that's just keep that in mind if you do have the date in your title. But what we can do to make sure that we meet our last criteria, number 3 here, is looking for websites that don't have the keyword in the title. Because if you remember, basically that's like the best way to optimize the search engine optimization efforts is to have the keyword in the title. So all we got to do is just click on Control F, and I believe on Mac is Command F. We just want to make sure that our key phrase isn't optimized. Now remember, this is the first page, and what you notice is on this particular page, none of these are in the title. And I've checked this before, so I know if you notice something like this, you put your key phrase in and Control F to the built-in Chrome feature, like the built-in search function, and you notice that your key phrase isn't popping up on any one of the titles for any of the websites coming up. That means that you have a really high chance of taking this website, especially if you found 3 or more websites with a lower domain authority than yours and they have less backlinks than yours. As you can see, this is the method. You can use it and you can create a long list of keywords that you could potentially rank for. And this strategy is very effective. Sometimes what you'll notice is it takes like sometimes maybe even 5 minutes just to find like a good keyword using this 3 criteria strategy. But sometimes it can even take up to like 20 minutes, like 30 minutes, finding like a real good key phrase for your article that you're trying to publish to get on the first page of Google. It really just depends on the market, the niche, and stuff like that. But I got another keyword here. As you can see, make your ex feel your absence, which is different than our first key phrase, which is how to get your ex back. And this one's a little bit more specific, a little more custom, if you will. And this one actually, we have a very high chance of ranking for this. So just one more example, if I were to just click on this one, how do I manifest my ex to miss me? If I just go ahead and copy this right here, how to manifest your ex back. And then I'll just paste that in. As you can see here, we have the Mozbar extension giving us the results. So the first one is an extremely high domain authority, which is 100. Second one is the same thing. And then we got YouTube is the first couple of results. But then we have this one here, which is about the same as our domain authority and less backlinks. So that's one. This one has a very high domain authority, but 0 links. And then if we scroll down, we have another one here that has domain authority of 27 with only 6 links. And if we were to take our key phrase, just copy it, and then go to the built-in search function and then fix that in and just look for any one of the websites that have, we just want to find 3 or more websites that meet our first 2 criteria and they don't have the keyword in the title. So we're just going to scroll down. And I see one here is the first one that pops up, manifest your ex back. Then we got another one from YouTube, and then we have another one from Goodreads, another one from Aglo with Lifestyle. So although there's a lot of websites here with the keyword in the title, meaning that there's a lot of people out there optimizing their articles for this key phrase. So we do have a bit of a harder chance getting on the first page with this one, but we can still add it to the list because it still does meet our first 2, which is 3 or more websites with a lower domain authority than ours, and then number 2, which is a site that has little to no backlinks. And we found several of them just with this particular key phrase here with less backlinks and a lower domain authority than ours. But just like what I said earlier, the most important part of the on-page SEO is the title. You want to make sure that you get your keyword in there. That's the most important part of the on-page SEO. Now remember also, if you notice that you put your key phrase in and the first website has a lower domain authority than yours, that means that first page is up for grabs and you have a very high chance of getting your website ranked on that first page within the next 24 hours, which is absolutely amazing. So with that said, you just want to make sure you go through this process and then just make sure that none of the websites, or there's a very limited amount of websites that doesn't have the keyword in the title, and then the same amount of websites has a lower domain authority than yours and less backlinks, or little to no backlinks ideally. So what I want you to do basically right now is just to go ahead and build up a list of keywords using the methods that I taught you in this video. Just have you a good list of keywords that you can potentially rank for on the first page of Google with. And remember, this is going to be within 24 hours. So you want to have like a good list of these keywords. And remember, each one of these keywords is going to get you ranked on the first page of Google. And they all get active daily searches. So once you've done that, basically what we want to do now is we want to get their article with the keyword that we use. So we've done some keyword stuffing and we got the keyword density going. It's in our title, it's in our headlines, it's in the content itself is mentioned in the video, and we got the article published. What we need to do now is we want to index our article as soon as possible. So we want Google to be notified, and we want to have their spiders crawl it immediately. And the quickest and most easiest way to do that is if you go to Google and you type in Google Search Console. So I'm going to just show you what it looks like. The first one here, all you got to do is just click on this, create an account if you don't already have one. It's a really easy process. You just connect your website, and once you have it connected, they'll give you a dashboard, and you just put the URL in there, and then it'll notify Google immediately, and they'll have their website crawl it, and it'll get you indexed in the search engines very fast. And this is the most quickest way to do it. Sometimes it takes about 30 minutes, and sometimes it takes about 1 to 2 days. So once you put your website in, you basically just go to the bottom of the dashboard where it says request indexing, and then Google will start indexing your website. But like I said, it's going to be the quickest way to notify Google, and it's the quickest way to get it indexed and ranked in the search results. So that'll be it for this video. We talked about how to get ranked in the search engines using a free SEO software and a 3 criteria keyword strategy. And you can use this method and you should have no problem getting a long list of keywords that you can potentially rank for on the first page. Just remember to search for and make sure that there's no similar websites that do have like little to no backlinks to yours and lower domain authority to yours. Just make sure they don't have any keywords in the title, because like I said in the early part of this video, that's basically was like one of the most important things you can do when you're search engine optimization. That was like your on-page optimization, is to make sure you have the keyword in the title. All right, so that'll be all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like content like this, then I highly recommend that you check out my website, jonathancoates.net. You'll see it in the description. I talk about everything when it comes to generating traffic and increasing sales. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. See you then.